Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the AI hardware battleground. And look, it's not just about who's got the fastest chip anymore. It's about something way more important, the total cost of ownership. We're going to explore how AMD is taking on NVIDIA's dominance, not by just building a faster engine, but by playing a much smarter, more cost-effective game. So we all see the incredible stuff AI can do, right? But behind the scenes, there's this massive hidden cost that's just getting bigger and bigger. Data centers are absolute power hogs, and AI is just pouring gasoline on the fire. This isn't just some abstract problem, you know? It hits the bottom line hard. And as we're about to see, it's forcing a huge shift in the entire AI hardware market. So how do you even begin to get a handle on these skyrocketing costs? Well, you have to look beyond the shiny sticker price of a GPU and start thinking like a chief financial officer. You have to consider what's called the total cost of ownership, or TCO. And that's not just the price you pay up front, but the cost of actually running the thing, the power, the cooling, day in and day out for years. All right, let's get into it. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with that hidden cost of AI. Then we'll break down the huge difference between AI training and what's called inference. From there, we'll look at AMD's strategy, which is all about TCO, and then we'll actually run the numbers on a return on investment calculation. And finally, we'll talk about where this whole efficiency arms race is headed. Let's dive in. You know, the AI market is at this really interesting turning point. That first gold rush, it was all about training bigger and bigger and bigger models. But now, the focus is shifting to what happens after that. How do you actually run these models at a massive scale? And that, my friends, is a whole new ballgame. To really get this shift, we got to talk about two key ideas, training and inference. Training is the brute force part. It's teaching the AI. Think of it like spending months, even years, building a ridiculously powerful race car engine. But inference? That's where the rubber meets the road. It's using that engine to run races 24/7. And that's where efficiency becomes absolutely critical, because every single race has a cost, and that cost just keeps adding up. This shift from training to inference is a really big deal, and it's creating this huge opening for a new kind of competitor. While NVIDIA has, completely dominated the training market, AMD is making a serious play for the inference market, and their entire strategy is laser-focused on one thing: total cost of ownership. So what AMD is doing is basically a three-pronged attack on TCO. First, they're building hardware that's super efficient. Second, they're developing open software that squeezes every last drop of performance out of that hardware. And third, they're embracing open standards, which gives customers way more choice and, you guessed it, lowers their costs. And here's where you can really see the power of that software piece. Just look at this. With their new ROCm 7.0 software, AMD is seeing a staggering 4.6 times increase in inference throughput. That means their new platform can make almost 5 times as many predictions in the same amount of time. That's a game changer, and it's a direct assault on the operational costs of running AI. Okay, so we've been throwing this term TCO around, but what does it really look like? Let's break it down and see why focusing on efficiency is such a powerful move in the AI market right now. This chart right here is a real eye-opener. The cost of the hardware itself, the GPUs, yeah, it's a big chunk, 40%. But look at this. A massive 35% of the total cost is just keeping the lights on and the servers from melting. That's the hidden cost of AI we talked about, and it's exactly the area AMD is targeting. And hey, it's not just about the chips themselves. Networking, how you connect all those chips together, is another huge piece of the TCO puzzle. NVIDIA's InfiniBand is incredibly fast, no doubt, but it's expensive, and it's a closed proprietary system. AMD, on the other hand, is all in on open standards like Ethernet. Sure, it might be a tiny bit slower, but it is way, way cheaper, and that can make a huge difference to the bottom line. Okay, so we've talked about all the pieces and all the theory, but what does this actually mean in the real world? Let's run the numbers and see how AMD's strategy really stacks up against the competition. And this is where it all comes together. Check this out. With a lower upfront hardware cost and better power efficiency, AMD's solution could deliver a 40% better return on investment over just 3 years. For a cloud provider or a data center, a 40% better ROI? That's not just an advantage. That's how you win the market. That's what could make AMD the new inference king. So what's the big picture here? What does all of this mean for the future of AI? Well, it means the game is fundamentally changing. The old rules just don't apply anymore. For the longest time, the AI hardware race was a sprint. It was all about raw speed. But now, it's an endurance race. It's not about who can build the fastest car for one lap. It's about who can actually win the 24-hour Le Mans. And in the world of AI, winning that race means having the best performance per watt and the absolute best performance per dollar. So what's the bottom line here? As AI gets woven into pretty much every part of our lives, the cost of just running it is going to become an enormous factor. And that leaves us with one massive question. In this new battle for the future of AI, will the king of raw speed be dethroned by the king of efficiency? The answer to that is going to shape the entire future of technology as we know it.